Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, the one and only Ashley Live. Yup, it's me. This is my show. So tonight, I'm really excited to bring to you tonight's guest, episode 126. The beautiful and talented Joanna Serenko will be joining me. She's in the room right now, but I just want to make sure that I give her her proper introduction. Singer, songwriter, guitarist, pianist from St. Louis, Missouri. She released her debut single, Best of Me, in 2019. And then the following year, she was featured on NBC's hit show, The Voice. She finished in the top 9. Joanna is currently working on her debut album, and she's going to give us a sneak peek of when we can receive that album. So I'm going to bring Joanna in, and we're going to get this party started. Joanna!
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. How's your night going?
It's going well. I'm studying for my pharmacology test tomorrow, but other than that, it's going well. I'm lucky to be here and getting to play some music, so I'm thankful for that.
How's studying for nursing school going?
Oh my gosh, it is the hardest thing ever. But you know, like I'm at a great school. They have a lot of great resources. I feel like it's mostly just on me, you know, with the time management, the not procrastinating. And usually if I do well with not doing those things, then I can keep up pretty well. But it is really tough, just a lot of work, and especially doing music at the same time makes it difficult. But I'm holding it together.
Yeah, no, I was telling you earlier, I give you so much props for being in nursing school and studying. Like, nursing school is extremely intense. I did not go to nursing school, but my sister did. And I know other people who are currently in the program. And it is intense.
Yeah, it's a lot. The hardest things for me are always the demos, like the actual skills demos. But it's kind of like show business because you just like memorize it and then perform it again. So... But yeah, there's a bunch of hard stuff. I would say pharm is definitely one of my harder classes too. So, but
yeah. Well, best of luck on your exam tomorrow. You're going to kill it.
Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. So I start off each show with a song lyric. So tonight's song lyric is going to be from your song. Oh. It is going to be some lyrics from your song, Good Side. So I'm just going to say a couple lyrics from this song. You're going to tell me what the lyrics mean to you or what the song meant to you at the time. Cool?
Cool. Sounds good.
Beautiful. I know that it's wrong. I let you tear me down because I'm sure I'll see your good side. Even if it's not for long, you can throw your stones. I'll always bring them back to you.
Yeah, so that's from my song Good Side. I wrote that during a time where I was in love with this toxic person, and when you're in love with a toxic person, you have no boundaries. Like, you'll just let them tear you down, and you'll keep bringing the stones back to them because you love them and you think that they're going to change. So you hope to see their good side. Even though you never do. So that's kind of where that was coming from.
And so was that song, when you wrote it, was that like the release of all those emotions and just like kind of setting that off to the side and being like, okay, I got through that?
Yeah, for sure. And I would definitely say like writing music is the best outlet for me to express those emotions and to like have some place to put all of that energy, just because like in my day-to-day life it just gets bottled up, and so you come home and you just write it all down on a notepad and then turn it into music, and it just makes it all so much better.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, I think songwriting and journaling is so important when you're going through difficult things, because then you're able to say, hey, this is what I went through, and hopefully this will be to the point where I can get through this and learn something, and I can teach everybody else something about this experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've definitely had people tell me like, oh, wow, I've been through that experience too. And like, this is super relatable. So that's the goal with my music, is just to try and reach some people and give them some music that they can relate to.
So I want to start at childhood with you. So you fell in love with music at 6 years old. Tell me a little bit about your music and how it shaped your childhood. Like, what did music mean to you as a child?
Yeah, so my first time realizing that I wanted to do music, I feel like I was at my friend's, I was in preschool, and I just have this like memory, just faint
Yeah.
memory in my head of me being at this girl's birthday party, and I was playing on one of her toys that was playing like Ariel, the Little Mermaid song or something like that.
Okay.
I was singing along with it, and her mom comes up to me and she's talking to me like, "Oh, you like singing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm singing along with her, and she's like, "Well, I'm a vocal instructor." And so it ended up just working out. Like I got connected with her when I was around 6. I started piano and singing.
Mhm.
And it just kind of started going on from there. That was back when I lived in Cleveland. So I just went to her house. It was private lessons.
Mhm.
And then once I moved out of Cleveland with my mom to St. Louis, I started up at Webster Community School of Music, and I took lessons there. I did some like theater, opera, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was kind of when I was into musical theater more. And so I was working on more of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then I kind of took a break. I was just getting busy and stuff. But by the time I got to high school, I definitely found my love for
Yeah.
songwriting, for songwriting. But it wasn't like, it was in a funny way because I got this gig opening for this guy, and they said that, you know, covers are cool, but we want you to do originals. And like, I really wanted to do it. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. And so I had like a few months to like write a bunch of songs and do them. So that kind of kickstarted everything. But then I was like, oh, I love doing this. Like, this is so much fun. And I always felt like I was a good like writer English in school. And so it was like a fun way for me to try and incorporate some of that into music.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of when I started my singer-songwriting journey. And since then, I've just been kind of just getting random different opportunities here and there. Just opening for people, doing little gigs here and there. Since then, I've gotten my band together. So I've got a full band now. I just do gigs around St. Louis. So,
Cool.
and hopefully reaching out to some surrounding states a little more often too. So,
Yes. So when did you get your band together?
um, I would say I got my band together probably like my last year of high school or like a little bit after high school.
Mhm.
Um, I met my boyfriend Tyler after high school, and he helped me. He actually went to SIUE, and so like his professors all work with him, and like that's just super nice because they're all incredible people and incredible musicians. And
Yeah.
so like getting into that world was super nice too, because then, you know, they've been able to help me with my originals and recording, and I usually call them for my my gigs and stuff too. So
Mhm.
that was super nice to have to be in that circle of people.
Mhm.
um, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's awesome though. So your boyfriend, once you started dating him and like getting to know him, he introduced you to all these other musicians.
Yeah, no, yeah, Tyler, everybody go follow Tyler Dale Music.
Uh-huh.
He's an incredible musician. He's a country singer. He's got, I think, 5 or 6 songs out. I
Mhm.
put some background vocals on a few of those. Um, and yeah, he's an incredible person. I brought my first song, which is also another thing I want to talk about later on. I'm
Yeah.
releasing this single called Slip this November, on November 19th, I believe is the date. And that was actually the first song that I brought to Tyler and was like, hey, like I write songs. And he was like, oh my gosh. And he sat down with it. He played through it. He helped me rearrange some chords and like
Mhm.
put some cool stuff in there. And ever since then, he's just been helping me make awesome music. And so he's definitely my partner in crime. And he's helping me produce my upcoming album as well. So
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So the single, the upcoming album, lots of good stuff
yeah,
coming.
yes, indeed, indeed.
Awesome. So I want to bring it back to 2019. You were in the St. Louis Teen Talent Competition. You placed in first. Can you talk to me about that day and what that day meant for you?
Yeah. So it was the St. Louis Teen Talent Competition, and I always remember this because it was something that I would try out for like every year of high school. So like I think you had to be a high school student. Um, I think maybe 8th grade. I think maybe it was just the 4 years of high school. But I remember trying out my freshman year. I didn't make it. Tried out my sophomore year, and I tried out. Okay, so my first year I tried out with like a few different, like it was like a medley of songs.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. My second year I tried out with an opera song and I didn't make it. my third year, I just like did an audition. And then my fourth year, my senior year of high school, I was like, I'll just give it a go because it's my last year that I'll be able to do it. I just played a simple cover. I played Valerie by Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
And yeah, just before I knew it, I was going into the next round and then the next round. And then the last round was the finals at the Fox Theater. So that was so incredible and probably one of my favorite venues that I've ever played. If you've been to the Fox or if you've seen pictures, it's so amazing. Like, you walk in and there's all these mosaics and the ceilings are super high and literally the walls are just covered with art, and it's pretty incredible. So I feel honored to have gotten the opportunity to play there.
Yes, and that's such a cool experience because you played there, but then you placed first. So that's like so cool.
Yeah, like the icing on the cake, for real. I would have been fine if I had just gotten to play there, but yeah, it was pretty amazing. And everybody who was in it, like, it didn't even feel like a competition. It just felt like a summer camp or something like that, just because we would be meeting with each other and like preparing all together, making friends, and everyone was super friendly and not competitive. And so like the whole time I was just having a blast. So that made it that much better.
Yes, of course, because when you're competing against people and you just become friends and it's like that whole like summer camp thing, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So how many people were in the competition with you?
Oh, dang. Okay, so I think like 20, maybe 20. I don't remember. It was a few years back, but yeah, if I'm correct, I think something like that. But yeah, I think it was citywide, so it was like anyone from St. Louis, and I think maybe the Illinois area. If you were close to St. Louis, you could audition. But
very cool.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah. So then in 2020, the following year, you were on season 18 of NBC's hit show The Voice. So you went from killing it in that competition to being on a bigger stage, like getting worldwide recognition. So let's bring it back to Blind Audition Day. You sung All My Lovin' by the Beatles. What was going through your head the day of the blind audition up until when you sang that song?
Okay, what was going through my head the day of the blind audition? I had all sorts of feelings. Like, it all just felt so surreal, just knowing that I'm in the same building as like all of these famous people. Yeah. But for some reason, and I always tell people this, is like the blind audition day was the most calm my nerves were like throughout that whole process.
Really?
Yeah, like compared to the battles and the knockouts, you know,
yeah.
Like I felt calmer because I didn't have to compete with anybody. I just had to turn a chair to get to the next round, which I thought I can turn a chair, you know, like, yeah. So I kind of just went into it with a little, like, the most confidence that I had probably throughout the competition. But it was still really scary. I remember being backstage, like right before the doors would open, and I just took the biggest deep breath ever. I held it for as long as possible, exhaled, and then just walked out on the stage. And it was also nice because the audience wasn't, I mean, it looks really big on TV, but the audience wasn't as big as the Fox was, you know? So like, and it was dark over the audience. I couldn't really see anything. Like, all I remember is like a blackness and like a light on me, but I don't remember. And I remember seeing the backs of the judges, but then I kind of just felt like I was in my own world, just trying to get through it and perform it to the best of my abilities. So that was my audition day. And that was definitely one of the most surreal days I've ever experienced. Like, I still get dreams about it. Like, I'll just have Blake Shelton just walking through my dream one time, and I'll just be like, what's going on?
You're like, Blake, are you real?
No, I know, exactly. It's just so strange. But yeah, and that was a great experience. And it ended up being the same year COVID hit. So like I had my blind audition and then my battle and my knockout in LA. And then after I knew that I was going to make it to the live runs, we all went home from LA, and that's when COVID hit. And they were like, okay, well, you know, and we were all we had no idea what was going on, like, or what we were going to be doing. So they just sent us Pelican cases of equipment. Mm-hmm. And we set it all up in my basement. So that was some work, but there were pros and cons to it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you guys were like the first season to have this whole global pandemic like happen right in the middle of it. It was like, oh, we're all going to meet each other and like everyone's going to stage, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, now I'm back home.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. But like, you know, it was also something that brought people together too, just because it was such a scary time, and I think everybody was in their house watching TV. So yeah, but I'm happy in some ways, and then in other ways I felt like, oh, I don't know if this would have been different if I did do it live, just because you're talking to a camera and it's not like an audience, or you're singing to a camera and you have to convey the same emotion that you would if you were singing live. It's just like, I'm literally alone in my basement, singing to this black screen, and I have to like reciprocate my own energy, you know what I mean? So
of course
it's not having a crowd, but it was still really fun, and I'm happy with how far I got. I don't think that, you know, making it one more round would have made all the difference. I got everything out of it that I wanted to get out of it, and I had a great time.
Yes. And yeah, you killed it. Like every performance that you were singing, I was like, yes, like just
Thank
like
you.
cheering you on.
Thank you so much. That means the world.
Of course. So I want to talk about All Night 11. Did you pick that song from your blind audition, or did they say like, hey, we think this is a good song for you?
So I didn't pick it. I remember not picking it, but I feel like they must have stalked my YouTube or something like that, because I have had that song posted before. Like I played a version of it with one of my friends. Yeah. And so I had it posted. So I'm sure maybe that's how they found it. Which I feel like I lucked out with my song choices. Like I didn't really have too much hands-on choice of what I would be singing. Usually, I think the blind audition was, I didn't get any choice at all. But I remember for the next few rounds, like I got to pick from like a list of I got to pick a few, and then they would ultimately pick the one. And sometimes I would be like, okay, like I'm just gonna pick these few, and I would usually, every time I would get the one that I felt most confident in, which I praise the Lord for, because that was super super nice that I, you know, got the songs that I wanted. I don't know if everybody had that experience, but I did. And I'm thankful for it. Yeah.
I think some people have that experience, some people don't have that experience, because I've talked to some people, they're like, oh my gosh, I really wanted this song, but they picked like this other song and I just didn't feel confident in it. And it's so important. I think song choice is so important to the musician, because you want to sing a song that you're like, I sing this song, I know this song, I feel comfortable in this song. And I think that's when people have their best performance, when they know the song and they resonate with it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So 4 chairs turned during this blind audition. It was amazing. And I think it was so awesome that Kelly, Nick, and John turned at technically the same time. Like, it was so cool because they were all like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. So Nick fought for you for the blind audition. Before Nick got up and was like, hey, I'm going to fight for you, who did you want to go with? Which judge?
I think I wanted to go with John, just because he gave me the most feedback. And we just vibed the hardest, because I know that they cut some stuff out of my actual audition, but they were asking me like who I listened to and all that. And I was like, you know, some of the people, Alan Stone, Emily King, Erykah Badu, and like, so they all, you know, like he was definitely like feeling the R&B vibe from me. And I knew that he wanted to work with me, and I was like, you know, I would love to work with him. But I also felt like, since Nick did stand up and like stick his neck out for me, I love Nick Jonas too. Like the Jonas Brothers were my first concert ever. So like, it was a big full circle moment. But yeah, I think I might've gone with John hadn't that happened. But I'm really just thankful that it played out the way that it did, because I got to work with 3 amazing coaches, and like, that's just the best case scenario ever. Even though I would lose my battle or lose my knockout, like I would get picked up by a new person, and it was just like a whole new thing. And like I got to meet all of them and work with them. So that's just probably the biggest takeaway for me. Like, I don't really care how far I got, as long as I got to like work with these people and have that experience. So
So you did work with 3 of the 4 judges, which is like amazing, because some people with 1 and then they go home, but you had the opportunity to work with all 3. So what was like some of the best advice one of those judges gave you?
Well, let me think back. I think, okay, so another experience that was just mind-blowing was whenever James Taylor was the mega mentor.
Yeah.
So I cannot believe that happened. Even saying that, I can't believe it. I love James, and so does Tyler, and all of our family here and all of our friends here. Like, he's just such an incredible staple of music. So working with him was definitely one of the best experiences of that time on The Voice. And his advice for me was just to open up more, you know, like I remember him telling me a specific note on Angel from Montgomery to just open up or go do something higher on this one part, or like just open up and let looser. And after doing that, I definitely, you know, the song elevated itself. So that would be one of the things. And I know that John was more of the technical advice giver. Like, he would give me more vocal advice, like, oh, do your vibrato thing here, or something like that. Nick was mostly more performing advice, like you know, like have emotion in this action or whatever when you do Billie Eilish When the Party's Over. So like, I think John was more in tune with like the actual vocal aspect of things. And then working with Blake was difficult because we were on Zoom at that point. And that was when I was working on Rich Girl with him. Yeah. And so I think that was just little technical things where we were just trying to make the song like the best it could be at that point. But definitely I think the best advice I got was from John and from James. That was just a very, very special day for me.
So what was one of the most memorable times that you had on the show?
I will never forget my blind audition. I feel like that was like one of the best performances I've ever done.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because like it seemed to be such a nerve-wracking experience, but like I just felt extremely like spiritually guided or like protected, you know, like I just walked out. Yeah. And it was seriously one of the most surreal experiences. I'll never forget how I felt like being on that stage and watching all of that happen and receiving the advice and having my family back there. Yeah. It was just such a special day. And like also the James Taylor thing, I just remember sitting backstage, like waiting to find out who the mega mentor is, because we weren't really supposed to know until we walked out on stage and saw them. Yeah. But I'm sitting back there, and then I hear John Legend over the microphone on stage saying, "It's James Taylor," and I was like, "Gosh, no way." So I immediately texted everybody, like my family and everything. So, but that was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Like, of course it's James Taylor. Like, what? How? Yeah. But yeah, I just definitely feel like I totally lucked out in so many ways. It just feels so like divinely guided. Like I have no idea. It was amazing. It was really amazing.
Yeah. And that's so cool. You were able to have all those experiences. Like, yes, COVID kind of like put a damper in the season, but you had all these amazing experiences on your season.
Yeah, I truly did. Like, I just felt like it was so perfect. It all just happens at the perfect time, because I had just graduated high school. Yes. I was like, I want to be doing music. Like, you know, obviously nursing is a great field. I'm learning a lot, you know. And it's like, if I'm going to be in college anyway, I might as well get this great degree, you know, because my other alternative would be like just going off and doing music, not working on college. But like, my parents are helping me out with school. Like, I have the time now, you know. I'm working on my album, so I'm just getting it done. But like, it happened at the right time, just because I just took a gap year after my high school year. So went and did that, had an amazing time, and then COVID hit. I just figured, okay, I'll just go back to school, knock all this out. And but yeah, like literally everything just felt so divine. I felt so like guided again. Like it just felt so like something else had higher power over the whole situation. I'm just like a puppet in this like movie. It really felt like a movie, I swear to God. So
yeah. That's so powerful, though, because it's kind of like that out-of-body experience, and you're like,
exactly
how higher power is guiding me and, like, watching over me on this journey. And, like, you're right. Like, all the things that you experience on that show, you're just like, oh, my gosh, what's going on? This is so cool.
Yeah, it was, like, one thing after another. So, yeah, it was amazing.
So you talked about some of your influences earlier. John Legend, H.E.R, Ariana Grande, Emily King, Erykah Badu. What is it about these artists that speak to you as an artist?
My taste in music is so all over the place, like not just limited to R&B, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I grew up and did the theater thing, so like show tunes, and like my mom, you know, always was playing country music. We would go on road trips and stuff like that. So I feel like I got a very large, broad spectrum of music growing up.
Yeah.
And I think like my biggest thing is just like the soul. Like it's got to have soul to it, and you know, like when you're listening to it, and it just makes you like your skin get goosebumps, and
Ah,
probably that. Erykah Badu has a special thing about her. Like I love all of her music. Um, like Emily King and Alan Stone, they both have so much. I saw Alan Stone in concert,
yeah.
and he would play the audience, and just you would see his gratefulness radiating off of him. Like he was just truly so thankful that you were in the audience. Like he would look at you and be like, "Thank you for being here,
Aww.
for buying a ticket, and like coming to my show because you're the reason I'm able to do this."
Yeah.
So like I really admire that, and I want to try and do that as well as a musician. And yeah, I would just say going back to like having a soulful voice is always just one of my favorite things. And like I love groove and funk and just like something to make me dance. So
So when did you see Alan Stone?
before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like the spring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, a couple years ago, a few years ago.
I like what you said about his energy and how grateful he was. Like, I'm thinking of some of the concerts I went to. I'm like, did I feel that? I'm like, I don't think I've ever felt that way at a show.
Yeah, truly. Like, and I love those more intimate, because he was playing at the pageant in St. Louis. I think it was the pageant. Wait, or unless it was Del Mar Hall, I think it was one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And the general admission was like the upfront area. So like I was just up there looking at him, and those are always nicer. I'm not a huge like Scott Trade Center or like Enterprise Center, like
Yeah.
huge stadium concerts, just because you do not get that same kind of intimacy.
Right.
So that was super helpful, and I'm sure like when he's playing those kinds of gigs, like I'll obviously still go support him. But yeah, like definitely the intimacy in a smaller venue like that is really nice for like actually connecting with the artist, and like being able to see their facial expressions, and
Right.
like them being able to see yours and being like, wow, like I have somebody who's supporting my music and they're right here listening and they paid to be here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's always really nice too.
Yeah, I love those smaller venues because, right, you can see the facial expressions. When you go to a bigger venue, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, there's so many of us here.
Right. And like I could have had better sound if I just like listened to it in my car, or you know what I mean? Like
Oh!
I don't know, but it's a fun experience. You know, you got to go to like, I went to the John Mayer one whenever he came, and that was like a huge concert. But the same thing, it's like you don't really get that same kind of experience as you would a smaller one.
Mm-hmm. What's one of your favorite songs to perform and why?
Ooh, well, I love performing my first original Best of Me with my full band.
Yeah.
They literally make it so dreamy, and it sounds so good with the whole band in there.
Uh-huh.
So I love performing Best of Me. I've got a few ones coming out on the next album that I'm really excited about, that we've just recorded, and so all the pieces are kind of coming together, and I'm like, ooh, like this is gonna be so much fun to perform.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't done it too much yet, like just kind of getting everything down at this point. But I'm really excited for you all to hear the album. It's going to be coming out in February, I don't know yet, but for sure in 2022.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited. Like, honestly, I released Best of Me, like you said, in 2019. So it's just been, you know, I released 2 singles since then. So I've got 3 songs out right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels like such a long process, because like I just want to get the whole thing out, you know. But just different things have been popping up and kind of preventing me from using my time towards that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely gonna work on that a bunch this Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
and get it out by February. So
yes, and February is gonna be here before we know it.
I know, that's why I need to get on it for real. But we worked on it a lot this summer. I would say I have probably like a few loose ends to tie up as far as like studio, you know, fixing vocals and stuff, but most of it's in the mixing and comping stages. So it's just a matter of getting them out. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear your new music.
Thank you.
And you have a song coming out this month, correct?
I do. So earlier I was talking about how Tyler helped me. The first song that I brought him, it's called Slip. Yeah. And I wrote it in high school. I think I wrote it like my sophomore year of high school. And I brought it to him and he like worked out some chords with it. You know, I had chords to it, but he just made them, you know, sound better. And like he went to school for music, so he's got all that theory behind him and right. He just works his magic and it's beautiful. So yeah, and we did a So Far Sounds. Have you heard of So Far?
Yes, I love So Far Sounds.
Yeah, so that was my first time I ever did a So Far. They were like, okay, do you want to get paid or do you want to have like a video? And I was like, okay, I'll do the video. Yeah. And they took a video of Slip, so that's like the version that's out there on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I recorded a Tiny Desk. We recorded a Tiny Desk version of it, and that's out on YouTube as well. But I think I missed like the submission date, so it's just out there on YouTube. But yeah, so we're gonna get that song out. November 19th is the release date, so I'm really excited about that. Doing a photo shoot for that tomorrow with my friend. Cool. And I'm gonna get some promotion out there for it. But I'm really excited. Like, it's just one of those ones. It's like the first song that I had. Like, so it's just sentimental, and it's definitely like different, and it's grown a lot. But I appreciate the way that it's grown, and I'm really ready for people to hear it. So
yes. What was the inspiration behind the song?
Behind Slip?
Yeah.
Definitely like. I have a few different songs with the same kind of like storyline, but I would definitely say like I won't let you slip through my hands. Like I feel like one of the lines is and like everything I've ever known, I bet you're gonna slip away somehow. Like though I hope I'm wrong, I gotta make myself strong so that you don't slip through my hands. Like kind of expecting it not to work out because it's working so perfectly. Like wow, he wakes me up and makes me breakfast and calls me baby and all these things, but like what's going to go wrong? Like, what's going to go wrong? What's going to make him slip through my hands? You know, yeah. So that was kind of the idea behind it. And that's also like kind of the storyline behind the one that I'm going to play for you today called Lose a Good Thing. It's going to be on my next album.
Yes.
But that one too is kind of about like, wow, we've got this good thing going. Like, I don't want to lose a good thing by messing it up or like taking it too far too soon or anything like that. So that's what that one's about as well. So.
Very cool. So you have been talking about Tyler, your boyfriend. You worked with him also on Sister of Nostalgia. Can you talk to us about the creative process behind that song?
Yeah. So that song is so special to me. I wrote it. I was actually on the plane on the way to record Best of Me and Good Side because I recorded both of those in New York. And I was on the plane to New York. And I just had like a poem. Like I had this, like the words just kind of flowed out first. So I wrote everything out. I didn't have a melody or chords or anything like that, but I just had it in my notebook. And I was staying at my cousin's house because my cousin Jake played drums on both of those tunes. So he helped me produce those a little bit. But he had a little guitar at his house. And so like, I just remember being over there and like trying to put some chords to it. And I finished it like that same day. And I was like, all right, well, I can't wait to, you know, bring this home and show Tyler. And I just remember like, it was a long process before we got to actually record it. But the night we got our first mix back, we just bawled our eyes out. It was like 3 a.m. Like we just sat together and cried so hard because we were just like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. And I couldn't be more proud of the way that song turned out. He helped produce it. He played guitar on it as well. So.
Yeah, and it's one of the experiences where like you worked with him and you came out with this beautiful project.
Yeah, exactly. And like he's just got, you know, he's got the theory, he's got the ear, he's got just everything to make a beautiful product. And I feel so lucky to have been able to work with him. Also, his professors from SIUE, his professor Zeb played bass on it, and it's a beautiful bass part. I'm so obsessed with it. Jake played drums on that one too. And we recorded it at Sherpa Studios in Brentwood in St. Louis. And it was so beautiful. Like, it was slowly pieced together because we had the guitar part, and then Jake recorded them remotely from New York. And then we pieced together things, like brought it in, had a bass day, had a vocal day and everything. And it was so beautiful. I'm really happy with it.
Such a beautiful song.
Thank you so much.
So
and like, just to talk about it a little bit, like, Sister of Nostalgia, it's like one of those things where it's like you're attached to like the good memories, even though the person did you wrong in a way, you know? So you're like, I know that I need to cut this person off because they're not good for my health. But like, my brain keeps playing back all the times when, oh, you like were a good person to me, you know, like, wait, like just holding on to the things that made me not want to release it all, you know? And so like, I was just so sick of that feeling. Like, when am I going to just be able to like move on, you know? And so that second verse, it's like, I was getting on my flight and all at once it seemed to hit me. It took me to a time you were close enough to breathe. I was getting off my flight and I wanted to run from it because I was doing just fine and I had somewhere to be. I was like, I want to let this go. Like, it's the bittersweet sister of nostalgia. It's like, not nostalgia because nostalgia is a good feeling, you know, a good memory. But it's like the sister of nostalgia where you're like, oh, this is a good memory, but like, it's with a person that is not right for me and I need to let it go, you know? So that's kind of what the song's about.
I feel like we've all been in that situation. Like, things were good a long time ago, but like present day, like, you're a totally different person. And like, I'm talking about the good stuff, but like, in reality, you are not the one.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah.
So let's talk about nursing school. I know you've talked about it a little bit tonight, but you're in your second year. So talk to me about nursing school. What made you want to become a nurse?
So I definitely had some influence from my family. My mom's a nurse. My grandma's a nurse. And so it's always been on the back burner of like, this is something I could do, you know, like, I want to help people. And it's also just a really flexible job. Like, if I want to be able to do music, like, I also want to be able to just be like, hey, I'm going to work today, or like work 3 days a week, or be just choosy with my schedule. I knew that I just didn't want to work like a 9 to 5 every day of the week, you know, like, I wanted something more flexible. And it's also flexible in the way that you can do travel nursing or school nursing or private practice or hospital or like literally anything. And like, for someone as indecisive as me, I wanted to go with a route that I could like have some leeway in. And so, yeah, and like, it was the toughest decision ever to be like, okay, I'm not going to go to music school. Just because like, I had friends who were going that route, and I just felt like I'm already successful in music, and I'm like doing the things that I want to be doing. So I don't feel like I need to go, you know, pay money for a music major. And I just thought, you know, it's like 4 years of my life. My mom wants me to go to college. So like, I'm going to do something that I can come out with and like be able to just go to work and come back and spend my money on cool recording equipment and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm actually talking to my life coach tomorrow, and I have 21 electives remaining, and I need 21 electives to get a music therapy minor. So I'm going to try and do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was interested in it.
Yes. Yeah, that's really cool. And when you were talking about nursing, I was thinking of the times that like I was at the hospital or like in a doctor's office. I'm like, oh my God, if Joanna was my nurse, she could sing to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for sure. Like, I would definitely be really interested in that. And I'm actually more interested in like holistic health. Like, I would love to be able to do something, you know, not in a hospital setting, like something more like traditional, holistic, alternative based. But I just feel like getting the RN is probably like the first step in any of that. So just kind of a process, getting it done slowly but surely. But the time has actually flown by really fast. Like, I can't believe I'm almost halfway done. So I'm sure I'll get through it. It's just a lot. So.
Yes, it definitely is a lot. The coursework is very intense. And you're right. Like, when you're studying, you're like, oh my gosh, like, none of this makes sense. Like, how am I going to, like, take this test tomorrow? But it's just like, you just keep plugging away. Like, you got this.
Yeah, for sure. It just feels like regurgitating right now, but like a lot of it's setting in. And I'm learning a lot about the body and like just about like what, you know, like what my organs do. Like, oh, like this is good information to probably know. So I'm enjoying it for sure. I can't wait till I get to the point where I'm finished with it and I can just go to work and then play music more. But
yeah, it's more time for music.
Yeah, for sure.
So what does success mean to you?
Success. Okay. Well, I would love to get to the point where I don't have to be worried about having another job. Like I want to just do music with my life. And I would say success is more about just having the freedom to be able to go do what we want to do. Like, we really want to do van life. We've got a pup, Cedar. And so we really want to go do that. We want to travel the country and play music. And I really just want to collaborate with all my favorite artists. I feel like that's a huge thing too for me, is like, that's what success will be whenever I'm, you know, I listen to John Mayer on the radio all the time, but like the day I get to meet him will be like the true success of, you know, my story, because like I just want to meet the people that I'm listening to all the time and like be able to experience music and life with them. So that's another thing. And I think just like reaching a point where we don't have to be like worried about if we're not going to make enough money doing one thing or another. Like, I just don't want to be worried about that at all. Like, I just want to get to the point where I have, you know, my studio and I can go record songs and release them and like tour. Like, I just want to release music and tour, honestly.
Yeah.
So
I love what you said about working with the people that you look up to. Like calling up Alan Stone and being like, hey, we want to write this song together, or going on tour with John Mayer. Like, you know, like, oh, we need to go on tour together. Like, that is so awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I'm manifesting those things too, because I'll like literally fall asleep and I'll be dreaming and being like, oh, it's probably because I just saw something on Instagram, but like Alan Stone's backyard concert, and then I'll have a dream that I'm like there and, you know, like singing with him or something like that. So I don't know. I have strong beliefs that hopefully it'll work out one day, but for now, I'm just going to focus on my music and work on building up my, you know, repertoire and getting this album out, and I'll meet all of the people I need to meet at the summit.
Yes. So, okay, so you have the single Slip coming out November 19th. The album is going to be coming out in February. Can you tell us what else is coming up in the next couple months? Live shows, collaborations, anything else coming up with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next thing that's going to be really fun, if anybody's in the St. Louis area, is at Westport Social on November 13th. This is going to be Tyler's band. So Tyler Dale and Company is his band, and it's his original country stuff. It's country covers and stuff like that. So it's me, Tyler, and his sister Kristen, and our full band as well. So we all, you know, sing covers and his originals as well. So that's super exciting. I'm looking forward to that. It's at Westport Social, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. It's free, no need for a ticket. So that's the first thing on my mind. And the Dark Room on December 10th, I'm playing with the Playadors. And I think there's a ticket link to that as well. I'll have to find that and post that. I'll post it on my story after this.
Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've got right now in the books.
Nice. Guys, if you're in the St. Louis area, go check out Joanna.
Thank you.
Yes, you said, what was the date? November 13th?
Yes, November 13th for the country stuff, and then the Playadors date at the Dark Room is December 10th. So that's going to be some of my originals, and also some of my friend Dave Grelly's originals as well. So
amazing. So what's the best advice you've ever been given?
Whoa. Hang on. You know, that's a question you feel like you would like have the answer to because it's the best advice you've ever been given. Dang, I don't know, but I know like the advice that I would give myself, my younger self, would probably be like not to take life so seriously, you know, because I feel like sometimes or a lot of the times I get in my own head about little things and just making sure I'm perfect on everything because I just set such high standards for myself. Like, I do that. And so I think what I would tell my younger self and even my current self, because I still fall victim to it, is like, don't take life so seriously. Like, have fun with your life.
Yeah.
And I've just been so blessed with all the people that I have in my life and all the people helping me and supporting me in my music. So just being grateful, focusing on all the things that I do have, as opposed to things that I don't have yet. Because if I'm grateful for the things that I already have in my life, then the universe is just going to continue filling my life with abundance. So that's probably the advice that I would give myself.
Yeah, because the thing is, I feel like people say, don't take things so seriously. Like, because when I think of things I stress out about, I have to remind myself, is this going to matter 5 years from now? I'm like, no, it's like dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sometimes you just got to be like, it's not that serious. Like, I have a roof over my head. Like, I have food in the fridge. Like, we're all good.
Yeah, exactly. And just knowing that everybody else is having this human experience as well. Like, we all are born onto this earth. We each get a meat case full of organs and all the things. And so, like, yeah, just trying to, like, get through life and not take it so seriously, I would say, is the thing. And just being there for other people. And we all go through our human experiences in different ways, and just being understanding and empathetic towards yourself and to others. So
yeah, that's so important.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell all the beautiful people watching right now how they can support you in your musical journey. What can they do?
How you can support me? Let's see here. So I've got my Instagram. You can obviously follow me on Instagram. I'm on all the social medias. You can give me a follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of those things. My Venmo is Joanna-Serenko, if any of you want to look at that. I am going to be working on my Patreon, so that's probably going to be coming up closer to the summer, just after I get all the school stuff done. So that's a little farther down the road, but those are some of the things right now that would be super helpful. Yeah, probably the social medias and all of that.
Yes, guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Joanna on all her social media. And what did you say your Venmo was again?
Joanna-Serenko.
Yes, and it is the holiday season, so please donate to good music because she has this album coming up, guys, and every little bit helps. So that's all the questions that I have for you this evening, but you're going to perform for us.
All right, cool. Well, I've got that first song that I was talking about earlier called Lose a Good Thing, and this will be on the upcoming album. So I hope you like it. I know you're thinking of me. I met you about 1,000 years ago. You know where I wanna be, and I would never have to walk alone. I know you're waiting for me. I'm sorry that I'm taking so long. I've come to finally see I got a lot of room to grow. I don't want to lose a good thing. I don't want to ruin everything. I don't wanna risk the fall, but it'll knock me off my feet. I don't wanna lose a good thing. I know you're perfect for me, but I've been up about it all night. You put your arm around me. You tell me everything will be alright, alright. Alright, alright, alright. I don't want to lose a good thing. I don't want to ruin everything. I don't want to risk the fall, but it'll knock me off my feet. I don't want to lose a good thing. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a thing. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a good thing. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a thing, baby. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a good thing. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a thing, baby. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a good thing. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a thing, baby. I don't want to lose a thing, lose a thing, lose a good thing. Hey. Thank you.
That was beautiful. And thank you for dropping that exclusive on my show. What's the name of that one again?
Absolutely. It's called Lose a Good Thing.
Yes. Love that one.
Thank you so much. So that one, that's going to be on the album. And this next one as well is going to be on the album. It's called Make It Up Tonight. And this one's funny because it's just different. Like, it's just a different vibe from all of the other songs that I have on my album, because I feel like the rest of the album is way more singer-songwriter-y, and this one is more like definitely in the R&B pop, like hip hop realm. It's a little more like computerized, but it's like I wrote it on guitar, and I'm probably eventually going to release a version of it that's just like more acoustic singer-songwriter, but I worked up a cool version of it with some of my friends, so I'm probably going to put that version on the album, even though it's not exactly like everything else, but you know. It's called Make It Up Tonight, and it's just about like miscommunications in a relationship. You're just like, oh, I don't want to miscommunicate. Like, I just want to love you and let's get over it. Like, I'll say anything to make it up tonight is basically what it's about. So let's do it. Well, it's hard to love you when we can't communicate. And I know what you do when you're reading into what I say. We do this thing where we both overthink and blame. Then I acted a fool. It ain't long before you put me in my place. I'm losing every fight. Somehow I always turn into the bad guy. Guess I'm wrong and you were right, 'cause I'll say anything to make it up tonight. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Well, it's hard to believe, 'cause we're closer than we've ever been. Act like you don't know me, 'cause it's just so easy to pretend. Go and bring up the past, I'm so glad that you're asking again. Well, I'm not what you've seen, and I hope you give me another chance. I'm losing every fight, somehow I always turn into the bad guy. Guess I'm wrong and you were right, 'cause I'll say anything to make it up tonight. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, oh, 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 oh. Well, I meant what I said when I said you were meant for me. Well, I meant what I said when I said you were meant for me. Well, I meant what I said when I said you were meant for me. Yeah. Well, I meant what I said, but you go on ahead and believe what you believe. I'm losing every fight, somehow I always turn into the bad guy. Guess I'm wrong and you were right, 'cause I'll say anything to make it up tonight. Hey, 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 oh, 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 oh. Hey, oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 oh, 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 oh.
Yes! Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for dropping 2 new songs.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm so honored.
Eddie said, this song is so good. Eddie, I agree. I love both of those songs.
Thank you so much.
Yodi says, I hear a lot of dopeness in this live.
Oh my gosh.
Got me.
Where
like,
are you seeing all these comments? Because I don't have like refreshed ones, but it's all good.
Yeah, sometimes it's a tad delayed as well.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, Haunted Bottle says, got me like Ric Flair in my mama living room. Woo! That is fun!
Bless.
Love it. So, Joe, do you have time for a couple questions from the audience?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Wise Guy says, get this album out. It is coming February.
Yay! Thank you so much.
But she has a new song coming out November 19th. Slip.
Yes.
So definitely a new song coming in the next few weeks. So guys, this will be the point of the show where if you have any questions for Joanna, please feel free to put them in the comments section below.
Awesome. And I'm sorry, but I do not have like comments on my end. So
oh, it's okay. I'll read them to you.
Okay, perfect.
No worries. I have like the whole comment thing going on. So if any question comes up, I'll tell you who it's from. I'll read it. All that good stuff.
Lovely. Thank you.
So I know you mentioned some of your inspirations earlier. Who are like the ideal people you would love to collab with?
It's so hard because like I want to be like, you know, like I've always wanted to collab with Drake because it's like, like that's like the dream to collab with Drake, you know, be the sample on one of the songs. But realistically, probably like I would love to work with Alan Stone. He's super cool. I so admire him. Let me think about that. Like, definitely John Mayer. He's so talented. I respect him so much as a musician.
Yeah.
I would love to work with H.E.R. I think H.E.R. is super dope.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm obsessed with Ariana Grande. She's amazing, incredible human being. And honestly, those are the first ones that come to my head. But
all good choices. So are you watching this season of The Voice with Ariana?
I'm catching little snippets here and there. I haven't gotten to sit down and actually watch the episode, but like following the NBC account on Instagram, seeing all of her, you know, little videos and stuff like that. And I feel bad that I missed her on my season, but it's okay. Whenever I found out she was going to be a new judge, I was like, okay, that's fine.
So,
but
if she was on your season, right, if she was a judge, do you think you would have picked her?
Oh, hands down. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. She's killing it as a judge this season, too. She's like very technical. She is rocking it.
Yeah. She's so like intelligent and very just so incredible at singing. Like, just like unlike anything I've ever heard as far as like vocalist goes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just so in control. And I'm sure she's probably giving a lot of great advice. I do need to catch up on some of that. But
yeah, she is next level.
Very next level, yeah, indeed.
Okay, hold on. I'm just scrolling up. Okay, Wise Guy says, outside of the Fox, what St. Louis venue would you like to play? What about outside of the 314 area?
That's a good question. Inside the 314 area, I would love to play the Pageant. I haven't gotten to play there yet, but I feel like that would be super rad for like an album release show or something like that.
Yeah.
I performed at this one place called Red Flag, St. Louis, and there was kind of a similar vibe if you haven't been there. Like really big stage, but still like an intimate setting. But definitely the Pageant, I would love to play there. I need to get hip to some other places in St. Louis that I want to play at. But that's one of them. And then outside of St. Louis, I know this is like a stretch, but the dream is definitely Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Just because it looks so badass. Like, I want to play there so bad.
Yeah.
That would probably be my answer.
Yeah. Love Red Rocks. Have you been?
I've never been. No, I've never been.
Oh my gosh. I went a couple of years ago just to see a show because it was on my bucket list to go see a show there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't believe I was there. I saw the Motet. They're a band out of Colorado.
Oh,
you should check them out. They're like funky and soulful.
Okay. I will for sure.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I was there, I just like looked around and I saw the lights and the rocks. I was like, I can't believe I'm here right now. This is so cool.
Yeah, I want to go so bad for sure.
Brandon,
I also want to go to a music festival. I've never been to a music festival, but
really?
I really go to one. Yeah. Like any kind of music festival.
Are there any music festivals that you like are dying to go to?
I've never been to Lala. I've never been to Coachella. I don't know if they're doing that anymore. Right? Are they? I don't know. But either of those.
Lollapalooza happened. Coachella, I don't think Coachella happened, but Coachella, I think Coachella's on for 2022. So you still
love to do one of those. I don't know if this is still going on, but my mom said she went to Jamboree in the Hills when she was like my age. So yeah, I don't know if it's still around, but I would definitely go to that. And literally any festival. Like, I feel like it would be so much fun to spend like 5 days just out listening to music, partying, and having fun.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about music festivals is because like they have so many people performing at different times. So you can just walk around and be like, oh my gosh, who is that over there? I just walk to the stage and just find the coolest thing.
Seems like a fun time. So.
Brandon wants to know, were you always this confident with your gift?
Oh my gosh. That's honestly something that I feel like I'm constantly learning. Like constantly. Because it's different. Every time you perform, you're just trying to feel the vibe of, you know, the energy in the room, not psych yourself out. Like, sometimes there's a little voice in your head. And even like on the show, like even on my knockout, I think it was whenever I was singing Angel from Montgomery, like, I don't know, I just had like a little freak out moment where in my head I was like, oh my God, like there are millions of people watching me right now.
Yeah.
Or will be seeing this. And I just, you know, like it does something physically, like your mentality definitely impacts your physicality and like the things you can do. Like, and I just remember exactly the moment I had that thought, like I got like the little butterflies in my stomach, had less breath support, you know, all of those things. So like, it's so weird because you would think that by the time you get to a point like that, you're like already got the confidence thing down, you know?
Yeah.
But it's truly like just navigating it then and there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, but I do think I've gotten better at it. I do think that like, I trust myself more than ever, because whenever I wouldn't trust myself, I would like change my mind in the middle of making, you know, a musical choice or something, and then it wouldn't turn out either of the ways that I wanted it to work out. Mm-hmm. So like definitely just like trusting my own instinct is like huge. And even I have to remind myself of that, like just going on stage, you know, it's not something that is just like, oh, I got it down, you know, like it's something that every time you perform, you have to kind of just put yourself in that mental state of confidence and all of that. But I definitely have grown incredibly since, you know, being a high school student, just playing music, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, some of that has to do with just practicing a lot and having a bunch of those experiences, but also like knowing and having the credibility of being on the show, being like, you know, I did it, you know, like I don't need to question myself, you know, like I've done this on a level, you know, so much higher than anything else I'll probably do. I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully I get past that, you know, but just like for the gigs that I've had since then, it's like, I shouldn't be nervous for this. You know, I've been here, I've done that, you know?
Definitely.
So yeah, but I will say it is just like every time you perform, it's a new thing. So
yeah, I think and I know that there are some musicians, like ones that we know, big time musicians, that still get nervous when they go on stage. And you're like, why are you nervous? You're selling out stadiums. And they're like, I'm nervous.
Yeah. It doesn't go away.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to artists, like in becoming more confident within their voice or their instrument?
Yeah, I would definitely say the thing about just trusting your instinct, trusting your musical instinct, like that would be the biggest thing, because like if you don't trust yourself, then you're not gonna say what you want to say or do what you want to do, you know, like what you truly want to say or saying. And so like, I mean, a lot of it just comes with practice, like, and just putting yourself in those positions where you feel like you're not the most confident, just so you can learn how to navigate and learn how not to do things, because that's the whole like reason for making mistakes, is to learn from them. So like having those experiences, having those little flubs, being like, oh, okay, well now I know that when my brain does that, my body does that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like definitely trial and error. But like, I would say whenever you're in the position of like singing a song, just trust yourself. Be like, I got this. I practiced it, you know, like I know it like the back of my hand already. Like usually you don't have confidence issues when you have practiced a lot. So that would be a number one thing, is just making sure you're really well prepared and all of that. But like after that, it's just, you know, it's just a mental game. It's so much of a mental game. I would say singing is like, you know, I want to say it's like 90% mental, but I know of course it's, you know, the practice you put in, but it does feel like that sometimes, because it's like, I've got all the tools, like I worked with all of them. And then my mind is the thing that's messing me up, you know, saying like, oh, I hope you hit this high note, or like, you know, it's like the questioning of that. It's like, no, I'm gonna hit this high note, you know, and then you do. So it's just like having the confidence and trusting yourself that you can do it.
Yeah, I think it's positive self-talk, right? Because like you said, I want to hit this note, but I'm going to hit this note. Like I'm going to rock it, and definitely practice, because I think like if you take a song and you're like, oh my God, I've practiced this song for the last 3 days, and you've tried everything, and also failing first, right? Like trial and error is really important, because when you try new things, you go outside of your comfort zone as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like recently, Tyler's working with me on guitar, and so like we're working on alternate picking. And girl, that is so hard. I want to give up so bad. And literally we'll be playing a scale, and I'll play it right with him, like over and over again. I'll get it right, and then something happens where I just don't trust myself, or I'm just like, I don't know what happens, but I'll just play it wrong. And I'm like, I already played it. My fingers aren't doing what my ears wanted to do.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like a matter of doing it and practicing it. And then once it's like muscle memory, then it's so much easier to access it all. But yeah.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike. It's like you were so scared when you first learned to ride a bike, but now like you could just go on a bike and just, you're confident.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Eddie wants to know, would you ever come to Chicago and do a writing session with me? I know we both love Alan Stone, John Mayer, and John Legend.
Yeah, I've talked to Eddie before. I would absolutely do that. I've never been to Chicago, but I would absolutely love to if I'm ever in the area. And yeah, we both have a lot of the same influences, so I would be really excited to work with you and to write with you. That'd be super fun.
Yes. Awesome. So, Joe, any final words from you?
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show. I feel so grateful, and I'm so happy that I got to like carve out a time in my week just to like focus on practicing guitar on my originals and then like doing it for this live stream. And I haven't done a live stream in a long time. Sometimes I feel like, oh, you know, like I can't go do a live stream right now. I'm not prepared enough. But like this is like what it's about, is just like doing it and getting more comfortable with it by doing it. So I definitely want to do more of these, and I want to do them, you know, like more often. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. I feel so grateful. You're such a great interviewer, and you ask such great questions, and you keep it super conversational. I feel like I've had so many interviews that were just awkward and like I didn't know what to say, but you made it really, really conversational. And I hope we stay in touch after this. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for your kind words. And please, when this new album comes out, like even before, please reach out to me. I'm going to stay in touch with you. And then we can also have you on when you actually drop the album and like get into this album, and you can talk all about it with me.
Yes, thank you. That would be so incredible. I would really appreciate that.
Of course. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow the beautiful Joanna. Joanna, where can they follow you?
You can follow me at Joanna Serenko on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. Just type in my name and you'll find me. And Venmo, my Venmo is Joanna-Serenko.
Yes. Follow Joanna on all of her social media. She has the song dropping on the 19th. You have the show with Tyler this month, and you have the show in December, and the album is coming out in February. Like I said, guys, please make sure to follow Joanna. Support good music. And guys, I'm Ashley Live. If you're new here, I interview incredible musicians all the time. Please follow me, Ashley Live, Vibin with Ashley Live. I do shows like this all the time. Give us both a follow, support good music, stay safe, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.